Hello, it's Ryan from 2minutetennis.net, and in this video I'm going to give you 3 quick tips to improve your topspin forehand. I've got the Topspin Pro here. You know what to do. Check out my affiliate link in the description below. I'll even pin it in the first comment. It would mean the world to me if you used my affiliate link to get the Topspin Pro for at-home practice, so thank you so much. First tip, take the racket back with both hands on the racket. You see so many players, they just take the racket back with one hand. Rotate the body and just turn to take the racket back with both hands. When you rotate, you're coiling, and then you can uncoil to hit with effortless racket speed. And you can allocate that racket speed into either making the ball go fast or spinning the ball, and we'll talk about that for tip number 2. Another benefit to taking the racket back with both hands is it tends to make you automatically have the tip of the racket pointing up. So when you do this, you set into motion what's called a C swing, where you're drawing the letter C, and that means you can swing really fast, but also handle pace. See, when the ball's coming in fast, you don't want to take it down low and have to stop the racket to then come back forward again. It actually takes less time to draw that C swing so you can handle your opponent's fast shots. All right, tip number 2. When you are hitting the ball, it is important that you, prior to hitting, close your racket face and then keep your strings closed, meaning tilted down, as you are going up as you hit. You do not want your racket to open up and then hit with the strings facing the sky. The best players in the world keep their strings pointing down before and slightly during their fastest hits. Now, if you don't swing very fast, you can still do this. Close your racket face, but you'll need your racket to face forward when you hit the ball. But if you're someone who really can swing and you keep the racket up and you circle around, you can nail it, that's awesome. You can actually get away with having your strings a few degrees closed because there's enough friction during contact to actually pull the ball up over the net, but then the spin sucks the ball right back down into the court. So you just practice this with the Topspin Pro, and you can use your hand at first. You can just spin the ball like this, where your hand is parallel to the shield. You can see the shield is tilted. See how it's slanted slightly? And it's tilted over, so you keep your palm parallel to the shield as best you can to spin the ball. You can choke up on your racket to get that feeling if you're not someone who typically uses topspin. And then you can choke all the way down or go all the way back down to the bottom of the handle and spin the ball. Feel like as you're hitting the ball, you're almost hitting on the top half of the ball, but not because you're hitting down on it, but you're going up and ever so slightly. Think 2 degrees closed, 3 degrees closed. Your racket face is slightly closed, and as you swing up aggressively, you will get an immense amount of topspin that's going to give you the control that you're looking for. And the last tip, it has to do with your non-hitting hand. I'm actually going to give you 2 things to do with your non-hitting hand that is going to greatly increase your ability to unwind and control that unwinding and that power that you're going to gain. Remember, when we took the racket back, we took it back with both hands. We're taking the racket back like this. Well, then what we're going to do is we're going to drop down and we're going to close the racket face. So what are we going to do with this non-hitting hand? We want to wave to the opponent as we're spinning up the back. Most players, they have it down, they have it like tucked in against their body, they're hugging themselves, they've completely over-rotated their hands back here. I want you to wave to your opponent as you're contacting the ball. Try it and watch what happens. First, it'll make sure that it's rising so that you can uncoil, but also it'll make sure that you're not over-rotating and completely swinging across as you hit. The second thing that this allows for with the left hand is then you can catch the racket. I'm a big believer in recreational players improving their forehands by catching the racket. Most recreational players swing across and they get a lot of side spin. I mean, the tennis court isn't very wide. The tennis court is actually quite narrow, believe it or not. when you're standing at the baseline, right in the middle of the baseline. The tennis court's not left and right of you. It's very forward. You almost feel like you're on a bowling alley, and I mean that. It's very, very narrow. So we need a swing that kind of matches that. We want, as amateur players, we want to give ourselves the best chance for consistency. So we want to go up. I mean, topspin's a vertical spin. I'm going up as I'm hitting the ball. So just embrace that and catch the racket, and then immediately get back to the ready position. So I'm going to take the racket back with both hands. I could even practice that with just my non-hitting hand on the racket, just to learn what that feels like. Take the racket back with both hands. I'm going to drop below and point my strings at the ground, whether I have an Eastern grip, a semi-Western grip, a full Western grip, it doesn't matter. I want the strings down. And then I'm going to be going and spinning up the back with my racket face ever so slightly closed as I'm doing that. And again, you can see the ball. That's the cool thing about the Topspin Pro. You can see the ball spinning, so you know you're doing it correctly. And then I want you to wave to your opponent as you're spinning the ball, and I want you to catch high and then right back to the ready position again. You practice these 3 tips on your topspin forehand, there's no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.